here. So, hi everyone. My name is Maryam Olaniyan. I'm a data analyst. I don't know, I wear many hats in this industry. I sometimes find it difficult to really hone what I am. I've been in the industry for about 5 years now. Now, it's my 6th year actually. And I've worked on different projects around data science, data engineering, and analytics. And I connected with KNIME in 2020. During the pandemic, I joined BAO Systems as a data developer. And my colleague at the time introduced KNIME to the team. He was the head of data science. It's almost my story with KNIME is almost a testimonial and also a testament to just how life transforming KNIME is, because I attended the L1 and L2 training within the space of 2 days. And in that time, at the end of the training, I was able to write the certification. It was easy to understand, very easy to get along with. And also on that role, we were able to use KNIME as our orchestration layer for building our own in-house analytics platform that we eventually have on the market today as a leading solution in global public health. But even after leaving BAO Systems and now working in fashion, just retail technology at Stella McCartney, I'm still able to use KNIME for multiple processes, things around just integration, just automation, simplifying complex processes, consolidation of, those many Excel files. And so, yeah, it's been fun. It's been a great ride with KNIME. Along the way, I've been able to meet the likes of Rosaria, Shantanu, so many people from the community. Some I met on Twitter, some from the forum. And it's a complete world of intellectual people coming together to share free, to consult, and also to innovate. And I know that most of the people who have shown interest, even in the Nigerian KNIME community, have said to me, I want to be in something that scales. I want to be in something that is innovative, something that engages my mind and gives me an opportunity to connect with people of like mind. So if you're here today, I'm very happy to facilitate your journey, starting with KNIME, or if you've started and you're just continuing, we're also happy to get you to fulfill your projects and different solutions that you're trying to build. So I'm not here alone. We are completely graced by the presence of the head of evangelism at KNIME, and also Shantanu and the Nigerian KNIME Community Coordinator, Esther. Together, we planned the session that I came for in Nigeria in October. It was really nice to connect with many of you in person, speak with you, understand your interest, and also using that to define and design the current data literacy program that we're presenting to you. So I'm going to give Skulk and Esther and Rosaria an opportunity to introduce themselves, and then we can get started. So Rosaria, you can go.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rosaria. I am the head of evangelism at KNIME. I am super in support of this initiative. I find it fantastically, and Maryam is a great teacher. Skalk?
Thanks, Rosaria and Maryam. Yes, I'm also very excited about this. I'm Skalk Gerber. I am also part of the evangelism team. I'm a curriculum designer, and I'm happy to get this community in Nigeria going and looking forward to what's coming from it for the rest of the year. Thanks.
Esther. Hi, Esther. Hello, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
KNIME Community coordinator for this community. You're not so audible. I think there's a network issue.
Maryam, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay. Good evening once again, everyone. Sorry, I'm still on transit on my way home. So my name is Esther. I am a data analyst and I am coordinating the Nigerian KNIME community with Maryam. So you'll be seeing lots of me around. If you have any question about the community, you can always connect with me and ask me questions. Maryam.
All right, thank you so much, Esther. It's been so wonderful connecting with you and also designing this curriculum. So I'm going to give a brief overview of KNIME. I know that not everyone here has used KNIME before, and it's just a good way for us to all start from the same point, and then I can explain what the data literacy program is, our goals and what we intend for you, and also how we intend to pull the community forward beyond the data literacy program. So just 1 second before I start, I just want to ping the Discord channel to make sure that everyone, or Esther, can you please help me just check if everyone is finding it easy to join the meeting? And I'm not sure, but I just want to be sure. Okay, so I'm going to start sharing my screen. 1 second. Okay. And then I'm sorry, I'm not vast with Zoom, so I'm learning as I go. Okay, escape. All right, okay, next up to. Just a second, please. I have never shared my screen, so I'm going to quit and come back into the call. Just 1 second. Okay.
While we're waiting for Maryam to come back, just for those who just joined, welcome. And if you want to ask a question at any time, just pop a message into the chat. I think Esther will help us with that as well. Or later on, you can also unmute yourself. We've given most of you, hopefully all of you, the ability to unmute yourself. So at a later point, you can also unmute yourself and ask a question. Thanks.
Connect my computer. Sorry, I'm back now. So all issues solved. And let's get started. So share my screen. Okay. Can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, we can see it. Thanks.
So let's get started. So like I said before I left the call, the goal here is to introduce KNIME to you. I understand from feedback that I've gotten from the community that there are some beginners, and then there's some people who have used KNIME in the past. But today we want to start from just afresh from the beginning and just get a quick run through of the KNIME Analytics platform. So we will discuss about the KNIME analytics platform, why KNIME compared to other analytics solutions out there. How do you install KNIME on your local computer? What is the graphical user interface like? Just an example workflow of KNIME. We'll also talk about communities, forums, and ways in which you can collaborate, share your work, and also just access other members of the community's work. And then we will discuss the data literacy program, how we're going to start, some strategies that we will take. So let's get started. So KNIME Analytics Platform is an open source modular data science platform. It covers all aspects of data science. So if you're a data scientist, you know that data science follows both historical and future predictive data. So you would think of it as a full package, a full solution that covers all your data analytics needs, from data access to data preparation, integration, visualization, machine learning, testing, deployment. And this is based on the visual programming paradigm. So what that means is that within the KNIME Analytics platform, you can visually see the steps or the steps, I'm trying to find the right word here. You can visually see each step in your workflow. And so it makes it easy for even non-technical users to understand what you're presenting to them. Also, KNIME covers the workflows and the extensions, the nodes within KNIME, covers an array of disciplines. So we have text mining, there are nodes that cover deep learning, chemoinformatics. So across multiple areas, you would find a KNIME extension, a KNIME node, or KNIME workflow that can support your needs. So why KNIME? Here, we're just going to narrow it down to 10 reasons. There are lots of reasons why you should pick KNIME, but today we'll just pick 10. The first is, like I said earlier, it's a graphical user interface with an intuitive workflow type. So what that means is that you can easily communicate, you can easily learn, you can teach with it, and you can use it. It's very easy for you to explain what you're doing in your backend. It's very easy for you to explain what a pipeline in KNIME looks like. And it's also easy to deploy your solution. So with KNIME, deployment is pretty straightforward. Either you have your own locally hosted server, either in the cloud or on-prem, or you want to leverage the KNIME Analytics server, which is a different product from the analytics platform. It's a pretty straightforward process. You can deploy your solutions to cloud. It's expandable. So what that means is it allows you to build your own nodes. So say, for example, you're a developer on the team and perhaps you need a custom node to execute a particular task. Yeah, KNIME allows you to build your own nodes, and the functionality expands via JavaScript, Python, R. There's an extensive Python integration with KNIME. So if you currently have your Python scripts running in a particular system and you needed that to interact with KNIME, it's straightforward, it's easy to expand, it integrates well with your existing infrastructure. The next is community support. This is one I have benefited from multiple times. The KNIME Analytics platform community is wide, is global. I think for me, it's the largest community of data professionals that I can say have a very vast and in-depth knowledge of analytics across board. And so you would find people within academia, you would find people who are completely technical, you would find people who are, developers, various works of life contributing and sharing their knowledge. So when you post a question, for instance, on the community, either our community, KNIME Forum, KNIME Hub, you tend to get a question as quickly as possible. It's just a few clicks away on the website. And so it makes it easy for you to think of KNIME as a solution that also comes with support, right? So modularity in creating modeling artifacts, there are various granularity. So for instance, for some companies, they need to standardize their processes. So maybe you have a data cleaning process and you need to have it documented and annotated properly so that it can be used across maybe your team. And KNIME makes that very easy for you. The workflows you create are reusable. They can be converted into meta nodes of KNIME, shared across your teams. And it just makes it easy for collaboration, because in that process, you can also track changes that you make with these meta nodes and components. Connectivity as well. So there are so many cloud web-based and local connectors on KNIME. I know that some of you do things like web analytics, you do integration, some of you are data engineers, and you want to be able to call on your systems, API calls, you want to be able to interact with various data types, either structured or unstructured. KNIME has the capacity to accommodate all of this. So there is no limit to the type of data sources that you can connect with in KNIME. And there's so many, even in addition to just the nodes, there are also so many extensions in KNIME for you to connect. So for me, for instance, I do a lot of work around Apache, and there's so many Apache connectors in KNIME, so I don't have to build any custom connectors or just have any hassle with interacting using KNIME for my work processes. So it's a rich functionality as well. Like I just mentioned, there are over 2,000 native nodes in KNIME. And then within the community as well, we have verified nodes. So third parties can contribute to the development of nodes. There's just a rich collection of data science functions as well. So like I said earlier, it's a one-stop shop for everything analytics, from the data collection to data consolidation, to data cleanup and transformation, all the way to deployment, even visualization. KNIME is a complete spot to do all of this. It's also platform agnostic. I think this is something that it's been a drawback with many other analytics tools. So usually you'd have a tool that either works with only Windows or Mac, or it has a better performance on a Windows PC as opposed to a Mac or Linux. But with that, we don't have that problem with KNIME. So it runs on all three popular operating systems. And me, for instance, I use KNIME on both my MacBook and Windows, and my experience is still the same. I don't feel any pressure or any difference in interacting with KNIME on my PC or Mac. It's open source. Like I said earlier, when I started using KNIME, my biggest fascination was the amount of innovation that I could do with KNIME. It sometimes amazes me that some of the things I had to conceptualize mentally before even exploring with tools like, I don't know, Python or R. With KNIME, I can just get started because, for instance, because it's an open source software, for every node that you bring into the workspace, you would get a recommendation from the community. It's called a workflow coach. You get a recommendation from the community on ways where maybe you could just suggest to you what could be the most likely node to use in the next step. So it's a connected based set of workflows that makes it easy for you to, explore, think of multiple ways to look at your data, so you can do very, very much in very little time. The nodes also come pre-configured, so you're not really thinking about remembering maybe a syntax or a library. It's pre-configured, so it's easy to explore, and that makes innovating a lot easier because you're not worrying about the technical details of coding. You're worrying about, you're more focused on your output and the efficacy of your output. And then the final thing, which is maybe the best thing, is that KNIME is free. It's free to learn. Even if you want to teach, it's free to teach, it's free to consult. Within the KNIME space, the paid tier is with the KNIME server. KNIME Analytics platform is free. For me, I think that was a big selling point to me, just because, for instance, if you're just getting started in your career in analytics, or you've been here and you really want to test out how a product fits for your needs, it makes it easy for you to really test it out without having to put monetary value to your exploration. So with KNIME, the learning is free, the experience on the analytics platform is free, and also the resources. So we have a ton of resources to share. There are books, there are self-paced courses. This program is one of such platforms where we're able to connect and teach for free. There are videos, on-demand videos. There's also the community. There are various communities with different ways in which people are collaborating and learning together. Also, if you wanted to test KNIME for a use case within your organization, it's pretty straightforward because, again, it's free. So yes. So what does the KNIME workbench look like? Just 1 second. Okay. All right, so the KNIME workbench, I missed something. Okay, so the KNIME workbench, it's very straightforward. I understand that initially looking at a page can be intimidating, but I promise you it's very easy to identify different things very quickly. So I'm going to start from the left to the right, so we're just flowing together. So to the left here is the KNIME Explorer. This is where all your projects will sit, whether you create them as a folder or as a KNIME file. So if you create it as a folder, you can have multiple workflows saved to a folder, or you can just have one KNIME file saved. So all of your files are saved here. In this page also is where you would find example workflows that have been created as free resources from KNIME for you to test different just workflows. So this is a workflow, for instance, different workflows across multiple sectors. So if you can see my screen, there's one for customer intelligence, retail, social media. So there are different examples, workflows that you can try depending on what sector interests you. So for instance, if you're in retail and you wanted to see a retail solution using KNIME, you could just come here, run the node, read the annotation, read the workflow description, and see how you can replicate that yourself. So I was saying earlier that it's easy to innovate with KNIME because you're recommended. So when you put a node within your workflow, you get a recommendation, for instance, on what the next step could be, or what's a recommended node for your process. So this is the workflow coach, where you would get recommended nodes, and these recommendations are from the KNIME community. Also have the node repository. So this is where all the nodes sit. This is a very powerful part of this tool, just because the way they're arranged, it makes it very, very straightforward for you to find what nodes you're looking for. So if you were doing a task around maybe a database, for example, you know that you would find it under DB. If you're doing something around analytics, so either maybe visualization or predictive analytics, you know, things like that, you would find it under the analytics tab. If you're good at scripting, or you have a scripting use case, you can do that as well. So there's a lot to benefit from this node repository. There's a lot to see. And think of the node repositories like libraries. So for instance, if you had to install a package in Python and then use that for your analysis, something like that. So that's what the nodes are. They are just singular packages for your analysis purposes. So we're now down to the main page. So the main page here is where you would have your nodes, where you would build your pipelines, you would build your workflows. We call this the node editor. So in the node editor, we can look at this sample workflow, for instance. So in this use case, we're reading a file, a CSV file, and we're saying, filter the roles and keep only the records where, let's say, the adults were born in the US, and then filter and remove. So we now the output would be only people, adults born in the US. And then after that, we're connecting this node to the column filter, and we're saying, okay, I don't need the gender of the people that I'm reading their data. So you take out the data. And then the next step would be table writer. So you can write this table to your local computer. You can write this table to a database or something. So this is a very simple example of a workflow, but it just gives you an idea of how straightforward it is. So there are different nodes, and there are different ways in which they interact. But the point is, even configuring these nodes, you're not writing code, you're not spending so much time on the technical details because the nodes are pre-configured. The next aspect is the outline. I like the outline for when my configuration is a bit robust. So maybe I have expanded the entire real estate and I just need to quickly find what aspect of the workflow I want to see. You can just use the outline to find that within the interface. And then here is the console, the node monitor and progress. This basically is used for monitoring the execution of your node. So if you have an error, you can read the error here. If you want to do maybe a quick sample view of the data, you can see here as well. So all of these here are more for, how do you call it now? Details in understanding how the node is performing. So here is the description. So in addition to having the workflow node and having the repository, for every node that you pick, there is an explanation of what that node does. So you always have the documentation on the nodes available to you. So for instance, we're looking at the row filter node and we're saying this node is used for filtering rows in the data. So you know that, okay, if I put row filter, I'm getting a filter of each row and I can define those rows. It doesn't stop there. It also tells you in the configuration what you need to do in order to get the row filter nodes to perform, right? My favorite feature within the analytics platform is the KNIME Hub. The KNIME Hub is a web, I would call it a web portal. It's a website, you can all access it. There you would find solutions, example workflows, and also you can put your own workflows there. You can also create components and share with the rest of the community. I particularly enjoy KNIME Hub because if there's an extension or if there is a solution to a task I'm trying to do, once I put it in the search bar, so let's say, for example, I want to do ETL, right? And I need to see like nodes that I can use for ETL. I type ETL here, I would see an example use case from someone else in the community that's made their workflow available. I'll click on it and yeah, I can just bring in their workflow into my workspace, make my modifications. So it's really easy to get tasks done, because in that vein, I'm not worrying so much about how do I get this done. There's a sample, there's support available to me in real time. So I just realized now that when I was creating these slides, I did not add how to download KNIME Analytics platform. So I'm going to quickly show you. Let me, okay, 1 second. Okay, I just need to find, where is it? Okay. Okay, so let me share my screen again. 1 second. Okay, so how do you download the KNIME Analytics platform? So if you click on download KNIME, you will just, download KNIME. You fill all of these details as best as you can, and then you click on download, and you would have the package on your computer. You just need to extract it. It's very straightforward to download. You don't need to, there's no additional steps for downloading. So if I put in my details here and I click on download, I instantly get the KNIME file on my computer. And when I double click, it self-installs. And you're ready to start using it. So it's very straightforward. I will put this link in the chat just because I didn't put it in the slides. I apologize. So where is it? Okay. Oh yeah, thanks, Skulk. Yeah, Skulk put it in the chat for us. Thank you. So, so I need to go back to my screen share. So I go back to the slides. All right, thank you. So what is the difference between the KNIME server and the analytics platform? Like I said earlier, the analytics platform is free. It's where you do all your development. You find all the integrations, you find all the extensions, also the community extensions, third-party extensions as well. You create all your workflows, you model, you visualize, you capture, you do your data transformation and blending. You do your data exploration. Everything that is within that tenant is free. But when you want to deploy, you want to share with your team as a collaborative tool, you want to use it for end user applications or API services. You want to manage and execute, consume and interact, monitor, update, all of those productionized activities, you would then need to use the KNIME server. There are use cases where people use their own in-house server with KNIME, but also KNIME provides the KNIME server to use as well. Okay, so next slide. Okay, so what is a workflow? What does it look like? A workflow is a pipeline of nodes, each configured to perform a simple task. Very simple. So if you look at it here, if you look at this workflow, we have, again, a CSV file, and we say, create a color by sex. So you want a color for each sex. This is a data science example, by the way. And then we're partitioning. We're having training data and we're having test data. For the training data, so if you look at it now, we have two triangles, and then we say for this training data, we use a decision tree learner. And then for the test data, we use a predictor. And then we can view the decision tree. We can just have a view of the decision tree. We can have a rule set. And then we can also see between the training and test data, what is their performance. So we have a scorer. If you look at this workflow, you would see how very straightforward it is. So I just wanted to give this example of a workflow. Okay, I already gave example of the KNIME Hub. So again, the KNIME Hub is where you can find solutions to data science tasks, you can find workflows, nodes, component, you can collaborate as well. So if you make your workflow available within the KNIME Hub, you can collaborate with other KNIME users, you can improve upon a workflow, just many things to do within the KNIME Hub. Okay, so how do you import data into the KNIME Hub? There are two ways. You can this is for downloading, I'm sorry. How do you download data from the KNIME Hub? So you can either just, when you go to the KNIME Hub, you would see this icon. It looks like a a decision tree. And you would see a download, a cloud, and an arrow down. So you can download a workflow, an extension into your KNIME workspace. The other option is to drag the icon directly into your workspace, and then it comes. So you can either go on the site and download it manually, or within the KNIME Hub, you could just search for like a solution on your GUI and then drag it into the workspace. Okay, and then finally, I was talking about resources and courses. Like I said, there's so many ways to learn KNIME. There are books, there are courses, there are self-paced courses, there are cheat sheets, there are documentations, there's the Learning Hub, there's KNIME TV, there's KNIME Press, so many ways. I personally recommend getting started. Although we're starting with the data literacy program, I recommend taking the self-paced courses because the self-paced courses are not only self-paced in a way that makes it easy for you to learn at your own pace, it also makes it easy for you to prepare for the certification exams. So the courses are already grouped according to the certifications you will take. The L1 is for basics, so beginners, and it's grouped by data science and then data wrangling workflows or courses. And then we have the L2, which is advanced, and then L3 is more around KNIME server, so productionizing and collaborating. It's a very interesting exam. You should work towards writing it. And then the last one is the L4, which covers time series, machine learning algorithms, text processing, big data analytics. So it's those of you who are data engineers, and then working with chemical data, so more for life sciences. So I'm going to take questions now. If anyone has questions or anyone wants to contribute anything, and then yeah, Raman, please give me 1 second, and then we can talk about our data literacy program, how we're getting started, what we intend to do. Yeah, so please ask your question. You can unmute yourself.
All right. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hello.
Yes, I
thank
can
you, Maryam.
hear you.
So my question is on the team collaboration.
Yeah.
What if you and your team want to work on your data analysis together before you share your data to the KNIME server, and for example, they have an input, to the workflow. Perhaps they want to
you a bit.
some of the work.
I'm sorry.
Pardon?
I'm losing you a bit. Can you speak into your device? Sorry, I cannot hear you clearly.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Type more on the team collaboration.
So I think if I got you correctly, you're wondering
before you share your
I cannot hear you. If you can just please try again. I'll take the question from Latif, and then we can you can try again afterwards. So please, Latif, you can mute your mic and ask me a question. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, Maryam. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Good evening.
Yes. I want to appreciate your going through KNIME, and my question is basically, I heard from KNIME when I went to Data First Africa, and I tried installing it, and it was saying that I have to create a folder that has to be readable and writable. So my question is, how do I make my installation folder a readable and writable device, and does it affect my nodes, like incoming nodes, if the folders are not readable and writable?
I'm going to answer from my experience, and then I would hand over to Rosaria to probably give a more technical answer. So I noticed one of the things one of like the challenges I have noticed generally with like packages on my system is if I download something and I try to create a folder whilst it's still in my downloads folder, I usually have like an error within the system. So what I would say is have a dedicated folder on your desktop, not your downloads, your desktop folder. You can call it maybe KNIME projects to start. And then when you create your first workflow, save it to that folder.
Oh.
So do you get what I mean? So have a folder on your computer, name it KNIME projects, and then create a workflow in KNIME, and then save that workflow to that folder. But Rosaria, if you have a more straightforward answer.
So the question was about getting, being able to write in the folder, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, so of course you need to be able to create a folder where you can write, otherwise where do you write your workflows?
Yeah.
So for example, a classic problem is when people are not the administrator of the laptop, and then automatically the installation happens under program files in Windows, for example, and then there, if you're not the administrator, you don't have access, and then of course it doesn't work because it has to save the workflows. So yes, you do need to be able to read and write your projects from that folder.
Okay. Okay, so let's see, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so Raman said on team collaboration, how possible is it to work with your team on a particular project before sharing it to the KNIME server? So my experience, we had a KNIME server running, but we were also collaborating, like just building on the project together, and we were using GitHub. So we were committing all our changes to GitHub. And that's how we were like collaborating on the team. When we were comfortable with the workflow, we had standardized it, then we pushed to production in KNIME server. But again, we have Rosaria here and the team. Skulk or Rosaria, you can please answer the question from your perspective.
So we have now that's a recent, super recent history. In December, we have released the new KNIME Business Hub. The new KNIME Business Hub is based on 9 teams. So 9 teams allows you to create spaces within the hub that are shared. So that means that I create it and I can add Maryam or Skulk or somebody else, and then we can share all our material. On top of that, you can have the Business Hub with all the other functionalities, like, for example, scheduling or a remote execution or versioning, also the versioning, right? So all this part, they belong to the KNIME Business Hub. You can pay them separately. You can have the 9 teams for just collaborating, and then you can have the KNIME Business Hub for all the MLOps, or for all the IT.
Okay, all right. Raman, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you, Maryam.
Thank you so much. So I think what we can do is also have a session within the community where we can see this live. So it's not just theoretical. Maybe in our first session, because anyway, we'll get to that point, but we can have a session to just see how the 9 teams and the KNIME Business Hub work. Okay, so back to presentation. Okay, so the data literacy program. Why the data literacy program? Why is it called the data literacy program? The data literacy program came about as a landing step for Nigerian KNIME users to really connect with KNIME, but in a beneficial way. When we were designing the curriculum, luckily, Rosaria had done the 66 Days of Data Challenge in 2021, which I participated as well. One of the things I realized at the end of that program was my ability to really understand the fundamentals of data. So what is statistics? How does statistics affect data? How do I explore my data? How do I understand just, simple data concepts, and how do I apply that knowledge at scale, right? And I know that for many people within the Nigerian data space, these are things, because we're mostly self-taught, these are things that we did not explore at the start of our careers. And so to be data literate means to have understanding of data, to speak the language of data, to use the right terminologies, to understand the initial nitty-gritties of interacting with data. So our curriculum, so we put together a very simple curriculum. I'm sorry, this part of the slides, I was trying to get it to look as pretty as the others. Our curriculum it's a full 3 months of learning, and we split it by days so that you can take stock and keep track of how you're learning. I want to say that none of these tasks take more than 30 minutes in a day. So you're not also having an information overload. I know that some of you have full-time roles that you belong to. So we're going to spend the first week importing data. You would imagine a whole week to import data, but I think it's important to also understand the different connectors, the different ways, different data sources, and different ways you can connect data in KNIME. The second week, we will look at descriptive statistics, so mean, median, mode, frequency, percentiles. These are very important things if you're a data analyst or a data scientist, to be able to explore your data. And then we would look at histogram and the date standardization. So I think when it comes to treatment of dates, this is something that is so important across many analytics solutions. And so here we will focus on that. Also grouping and aggregation. So on grouping, aggregation. I know that some of you are SQL users, for example, and we all know like the importance of knowing how to group data, ungroup data, how to just put data together. And then from the 7th week, we start looking at plots and charts, but from the aspects of univariate and multivariate analysis. It's so interesting. During my master's degree, I did a course on statistics, and we did this univariate analysis, and I had to refer back to KNIME to make sense of what I was seeing in SAS, so the stats software. But it's very straightforward here to really understand these concepts. And then we'll understand time plots, so treatments of time, plotting time, trend lines, things like that. And then still on the plots and charts, we'll look at control. And then towards the final parts of this training, we'll look at covariance and correlation, and then finally we'll look at text visualization. So this is not the typical analytics programs that we have. Some of you have attended like Power BI or just Tableau trainings. Here we're really starting from what makes data data. How do you understand data? How do you speak the language of data? And you're learning through the lenses of KNIME Analytics platform. So how will our community go? We would maintain the Discord channel. The shared link folder at the top of this page is where we have our community resources. I will be providing more resources there. So helpful textbooks, beneficial links, anything that would be useful to the community in your learning process, but I'll be very careful to make sure that it's relevant. So the week we're learning about importing data, I will not put some random thing there, I'll put something about importing data so you can use that as reference whilst you're studying, and we will continue like that up to day 66. The interesting thing about our community is that we're not boxed to only Nigeria, so there are many communities out there. As much as we wanted this to be for the Nigerian KNIME community, you're free to invite your non-Nigerian friends, so your Kenyan friends, anyone to come and get started with us. We'll officially we'll have a kickoff on Monday. So on Monday, I ideally will expect that you would attempt day one, which is just installing KNIME. And then you would send maybe a screenshot or just something, interaction on the group, so we know that everyone is following. So what I will do is for each day, I will create a thread, and in that thread, we can keep track of what we've achieved. I know also that community in Nigeria, I mean, there's so many options and so many communities. So there has to be advantages of being here. The main advantage here is you have access to me, you have access to Rosaria. So if you have questions around KNIME, if you want to know more about KNIME, you can ask questions within the channel. You can also connect with the rest of the community globally. We will also be providing you with 2 exam vouchers. Hopefully we can do more, but 2 exam vouchers for both the beginner and advanced KNIME courses. I would say that most people have asked me, how do I monetize my KNIME knowledge? For most of the use cases I've seen, or most people, they have become consultants, so KNIME consultants. They've built solutions for organizations using KNIME. So it's beneficial to you in the long term as well. We also have badges. So as a community member, based on your activities and how committed you are to your learning process, we would have badges. We will recognize you for your contribution. And then finally, I want to talk about me coming back to Nigeria and supporting physically. In July, we're organizing the KNIME Data Connect. I will provide more details about this in the coming weeks. KNIME Data Connect is a hybrid event where KNIME professionals and KNIME users meet, we connect, we look at solutions together, we network, we talk about collaboration, teaching, also expand our networks, communicate within the open source ecosystem. For the KNIME Data Connect in Lagos, we will be having a challenge. So at the end of the 66 days, we will send out some KNIME tax challenges to you, one around data science, and then the other one around data wrangling. We'll also provide you with materials on how to just make the solution to the challenges. And then we will pick the winners for both categories. So winners for data science and the winners for data wrangling. So for data wrangling, it will be more a data engineering, just a data pre-processing task. And then for data science, it will be a data science task. And then the winners, we would have many things to give them. I don't want to put pressure on our community. So it's not a competitive community, but it would be nice to also have something to show, like a solution, a workflow, something that you have built as a member of the community and be recognized for it. Finally, I want to say that KNIME is a community that recognizes you for your contribution. There are many ways you can contribute to KNIME. You can write, you can write, you can make videos. I'm saying we, but I would say KNIME is a community that recognizes people for their contribution. And so you would not go unnoticed. It's a very friendly community as well. Currently, we have 11 KNIME communities across like Europe and America. Nigerian KNIME community is the one for Nigeria, but I'm hoping that in Africa, we can get more communities by next year. So we have a lot of people. So if you travel out of Nigeria to other places, you have 9 users. In London, for example, we have 607 members. In Italy, I think there are about 800 members as well. So we're everywhere. Our community is big. I know our Nigerian community is just growing, but please don't think of yourself as a small community. You belong to a community of over 7,000 people or more globally that are constantly innovating and contributing to the ecosystem. So just to round off, yes, we will start on Monday, and Esther and I will continue to keep track of our community. We will continue to create threads so you can share your learning process. And I cannot wait to hear your questions. Any queries you have, please do not hesitate to post on the community. And now I'll take questions about the community. So yes, please ask me any questions. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Does anyone have a question?
Maryam, I have a question. For those maybe they don't know yet, what are all the channels that they can connect on the Nigerian community at the moment? We have the Discord channel, I think.
Yeah, we have the Discord. So let me share my screen. Discord, thank you for that. Actually, I didn't talk about the meetup group. So connecting in the community, we have, one second. So we have the meetup group. This is a list of all the 9 communities globally. So there are 11 groups. And I like to tell people that you don't only have to be in the Nigerian KNIME community. So if you see all other communities around Europe, they've started a Just KNIME Meet study group. Here we have Italy study group, Berlin study group. Everyone is studying together. This is a Qatar KNIME community as well. Yeah, so the Nigerian KNIME community is one of the groups here. So let me find it. So as you can see, places in America. Oh, I must have missed it somehow. I think our banner changed. Okay, I'll just pull it up. Okay. I'm sorry,
Just check, I shared the link in the chat.
Okay, thank you. I don't know why. Okay, sorry, I was checking for events, not group, but even that I cannot find the Nigerian one. But no worries, we'll check in the chat. So yeah. Yeah, so this is our meetup group. I want to apologize. We did not put the invite for this talk today there, but we would still update it regardless. And also the one from Data First. Yeah, so we will have all details about meetups, physical events, even virtual events on this page. So if you want any updates, you can please join this community here. And also we have the Discord channel. In the Discord channel, currently we have one for Nigeria and one for Italy. Hopefully we get all the groups to be on Discord so we can each move around the various communities that we have. But here on our membership, we have 149 people. I hope more of us can join. It would be nice to see more KNIME users in Nigeria. Does anyone else have a question for me? Please ask me a question.
So I have a question actually. So you were mentioning about uploading their solutions.
Yeah.
So we can upload them on the KNIME Hub, and then we can use a hashtag. You can define a hashtag here. Like in the past, we use 66 days of data.
Okay, I think we should call it the data literacy program.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we can. Okay, that would be good. So I would just, when you create it, please let me know so I can put it in the channel. But this is our Discord channel. We're currently 181 people. We need more of you. So please invite your friends. I know today is Friday and it's not as easy to get everyone here. So please invite your friends to come to our meetings, join our community where KNIME is fun. It's really exciting to build different things off of KNIME. We will definitely show you solutions as well. We will have working sessions, and we will also invite people from other communities to come so you can meet other people. This is not a strictly Nigerian group, so you're free also to join other communities, like I said earlier. I think, yes, I've covered it all. So on Monday, we'll get started. And yes, we can create a hashtag. Rosaria, thank you for that. And we can use the KNIME Hub to collaborate and just show our workflows, just like we have for the Just My Meet. Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Maryam. Last thing from my side, this is recorded. I'll share the recording again with you, and then you can share it with the community as well for all the people who couldn't be here live. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I don't know if I can create like a YouTube link and just have it there so anyone can reference, but you can share it with me, and I will see how to make that available. All right. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate you being here. I know that we will continue to grow as a community, so I'm really excited to see what we can do. I look forward to also collaborating with all of you, building a solution. If you have any ideas that you think we can build together, I'm very available to do that, and we can write maybe a white paper to share on the KNIME blog as well. There's so many things we can do. So it was really nice hanging with all of you. I look forward to innovating. Enjoy your weekend. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank